Hey everyone, MangaMatt here with not a manga review. This time I'm actually going to talk about something that I've been wanting to bring up. It is a quick overview of all the American, or English, I guess, producers and distributors of English translated manga. There we go. I think that about does it. Alright, so I'm going to start at the bottom of the list and try to work my way up to the top. Alright, so bottom of the list for me would have to be, let's say CMX. There we go. Now, CMX, I have no idea what CMX stands for, but I can tell you that it is owned by DC Comics, and then DC Comics is owned by Time Warner. So CMX has very deep pockets. Yeah, that's right. DC is owned by Time Warner. Yeah, all those people that are bitching about Marvel being owned by Disney, I don't see what the big deal is. I mean, DC's been owned by Time Warner for God knows how long. I mean, you think it's a coincidence that every DC superhero movie that's been produced has been produced by Warner Brothers, which is owned by Time Warner? I mean, it's just a means of getting extra money, you know. So, forget it. Let's not go down that path. Alright, so CMX Manga. What do they have? What do I think of them? I think that the way they do their whole marketing scheme can be summed up in two words: Tenju Tenge, which is the manga series that was produced by Jenny On a while back about a high school with martial arts kids in it, written by Oh Great, the same people that did Air Gear. That is pretty much the big manga that is their claim to fame, and also got the most controversy with all the censoring and stuff that they did into it, which I didn't think was a big deal, but some people think it is. They do take the time to leave in the sound effects, which some people think is a big deal. Also, CMX does a lot of series that I think they just do it because they want to ride the curtails of the success. Like when Kikaider came on Adult Swim, they decided to buy the distribution rights to the manga. When Shin-Chan aired on Cartoon Network, they bought the rights to Crayon Shin-Chan, the manga. And then another series that they got was that other one. You know, their whole idea is if it comes out in America that they should buy the rights to the manga that corresponds to it, because I guess they think that that'll get them a lot more publicity for that. So that's one way to think of it. I think of it as, you know, if it's a good series, it'll sell on its own. You don't need to ride on the curtails of it. Now, they do have some other series that have not been adapted into animes, those being Swan, which is actually an old 1980s shoujo series that's very good. It's about ballerinas, so it's very girly. And then also another one, Emma, which I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's based on the Jane Austen book, Emma, but I know it takes place in Victorian times. That's about it. And it's also supposed to be very good. So that's all I have to say about CMX manga. Also, they're kind of overpricing their stuff compared to how short their mangas are. That's another thing to say. Alright, now, moving up the list, we go to Vertical. Alright, so Vertical. Actually, there's supposed to be an A there. There we go. Illiteracy is cool! Vertical. Vertical actually is interesting because it goes in a completely opposite direction. By that I mean, they don't get the latest and greatest series and then produce them. They get old crap that they know is good. And by old crap, I mean Osamu Tezuka stuff, because that's the large bulk of everything they get. In fact, the series that they've gotten, Buddha in particular, has won Eisner and Harvey Awards. So I think they're going in a pretty good direction themselves. And also, they take the time to really give good covers, produced by a Chip Kidd, who y'all may know. He also did the cover art for the trade paperbacks for Sin City. So they actually get some top-notch people working for them. And also they get Blackjack, which is their current one that's still coming out with new volumes. And they've also gotten tons. They've even also gotten other series like Teiko Takamiya, and also the guy that wrote Gwyn Saga. I don't know who does that, but the look of it definitely matches what they do. So kudos for Vertical for breaking the mold and deciding to just get old crap that they know is good and they know is going to sell. And they also take the time to also sometimes make hardcover versions, including their Buddha series, their the Mu single edition, and the first few volumes of Blackjack. So making a hardcover version is also really nice too. Alright, so then moving along with the next one on the list, let's go with Dark Horse. I'm going to just abbreviate it with DK. Now, Dark Horse has I have a lot of hang-ups with it. I also respect it a lot because Dark Horse is kind of like CMX in that it's an American comics company that produces a lot of other crap too. By that I mean CMX is owned by DC, which produces a lot of comic crap. So DC actually does Hellboy, and they did Sin City. They do a lot of big American comic names. Now, Dark Horse has actually, I think, been producing manga about since the dawn of time. And by that, I mean with their series Lone Wolf and Cub, which they were producing way back when they were still doing it in single-issue forms instead of their little tiny trade paperback collections. And that's really great, but a lot of the Dark Horse stuff that they produce, they overprice a lot, like especially their Eden story, their Hellsing, their Berserk are all like $15, and I think that they should be a little bit less, like $10. Like, they did produce the Trigun series, and that's all $10, so I don't know why they can't charge the rest of them that amount. Go figure. And especially some of their other stuff that's even more high price, including Blade of the Immortal and MPD Psycho, which range even higher for less content ratios, and those are actually all still being produced. Now, they do also have Gantz, which is a bit bigger, so they can say that. And they also have the big Ultimate Edition of Gunsmith Cats, which is very... Alright, I guess that's about it for part 1. We'll continue with part 2 here.